they want to relay a message regarding sex and sexuality. Okay, this isn't meant to be like derogatory or anything like that, but what they're trying to say is because there's a lot of misconceptions or misconceived notions, especially when it relates to spirituality and sex and sexuality. They're saying, especially when it comes to like the restrictions of religions, or even in modern, if you want to call it like new age spiritual communities, where people talk about like energetic cords and clearing your energy and all of these kinds of things. And they just want to kind of break it down into maybe a more, at least attempted more simple kind of explanation or understanding, is that there's nothing wrong with having sex. They're saying it's how you go about it. It's about the vibrational levels in which you go about doing it. Okay, so the only reason you would need to, like, let's say, clear your sexual energy is, okay, they're wanting me to wait on this and to just say first that there is nothing wrong with like having sex or anything like that, or having that intimacy or that desire for intimacy, even if it is just casual. But they're saying it's your intent behind it. If you're doing like casual sex or doing that kind of stuff, that your intent behind it is still that of obviously consent and having mutual respect and understanding for each other, that you're just wanting that experience in and of itself, that desire in and of itself, that you're being straightforward about what it is that you want. So in essence, you're doing it from that higher level of vibration where you're very open, you're transparent, you're understanding, there's communication involved, and there's mutual respect and consent involved. They're saying then it's okay. Then it's okay to have those kinds of things, even if it's just casual sex. It's like they are almost like wanting to say there's nothing wrong with being a slut, okay? As long as you're doing it from a positive, as long as you're doing it in like a positive way, where it's like you're with someone, you both have the desire to want to have these frequent experiences, okay, in these intimate ways. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that as long as there's mutual respect, mutual understanding, mutual consent, and this is done from that higher level where it's like this general care and understanding of each other as human beings through having that intimate experience and wanting to experience pleasure or whatever it is in that way. Okay, and not allowing it to dip into negative. Okay, so now they're going to talk about the other aspect of it, is what it is not, or what the negative aspects of sex are that would maybe need like an energy clearing, if you will, would be that which would be manipulation, whether you are manipulated either knowingly or unknowingly into doing something sexual, or exploitation, or obviously any kind of abuse, whether that's RAPE or any other type of that kind of stuff. That's obviously extremely negative, and in those cases you would need to clear your sexual energy, even if it's a past relationship that maybe ended badly. You dislike the person, there's bad juju between you, you'd want to clear, your sexual energy with that. And they're saying that this isn't something that's really necessarily difficult. They're saying something as simple as like just a Reiki treatment with the intention to clear that can clear your sexual energy of those things. Okay, they're also saying going out in nature with the intention to clear. A lot of it is about your intention, but they're saying when you go out in nature, you'd want to maybe be on the ground or next to a tree or something, or lean onto a tree, hug a tree, something like that, with the intention to release that off of you, kind of and just let it be taken away, into nature. Let it kind of dissolve in that way. But they're saying that that's also not the best way to do it either. But unless for those people that are used to having maybe like an energy grid or spaces where they usually go to do that kind of thing, where they've energetically set that up, then that is useful for them to release those kinds of things. But for the majority of people that do not have that, they're saying energy healing techniques such as Reiki, or what I have on my website, Modal Works, the Becoming You Again module, would clear all of that kind of stuff. Now what they're trying to say is they're wanting to break it down. I'm getting like two levels here. So they're saying there's nothing wrong with having sex, sexuality, even casual sex, or being a slut, like they said. But it comes to the intent behind it and the level of vibration that exists within that. If the intent is positive, it's being kept on a positive level of vibration, of maturity, understanding, knowing what you're getting yourself into, and mutual respect and consent, that is good. Those positive things are good, right? But if it's in the negative level where there could be any kind of aspects of abuse, that also they're saying includes BDSM. That is not a positive expression of sex and sexuality. They're saying even if, let's say, that abuse is consensual, it's still abuse, and was never intended to be used in that way. The violence and those intimate acts. Okay, they're saying that intimacy, sex and intimacy on a positive level, that's provided for us to be able to have that connection, that intimate, that very pleasurable intimate experience from this physical level. Okay, they're saying we have that from a non-physical level where we can merge and have like certain experiences in those ways, but it's obviously different from that level because you're not incarnate, you're not a physical being. Having that physical experience where you not only mix the spiritual, the merge of that, but also with the where you mix the spiritual, the merge of that, and mix it and merge it with the physical aspect of touch, of that connection, of that physicality of it, of experiencing it within from a physical perspective, within physical reality. They're saying, the word that I'm getting is that's unique. And that's it. And when done in a positive expression, like I said, with consent, mutual respect, that kind of a thing, it can be a very pleasurable and good experience. They're also saying you do not have to be in love, you do not have to be married, or you do not have to be any of those things. But there's a general kind of love of the other person, as in it's just respecting them as another human being, that should still exist there through that intimate experience, because it is a deep mutual intimate experience. But there's nothing wrong with it being casual or a one-time thing or whatever, as long as it's done from a higher vibrational level. So now they're breaking it down again even more, saying there's the higher vibrational aspect of it where it's a positive expression, and then there's that lower vibrational aspect of it that's a negative expression that you don't want, that you would have to clear, that things would need to be taken care of through energy clearing and stuff in that way. They're saying there's a lot of the negative stuff that does exist on this planet, and understanding the recognition of that. It's not saying that sex is bad. It's that we need to change our perspective on how we actually go about doing it, and the intent that we have initially in going about doing it, right? That it shouldn't be about for money, or it shouldn't be about whatever. And they're also saying about pornography too. There's a lot of negative stuff that exists there, but it doesn't have to necessarily be that way. It could switch into a positive expression where you're expressing it from a positive, more consensual level, where people aren't doing it because they just need money or want money or something like that, where they're actually doing it to represent this expression of these intimate things. But that's kind of a deeper topic that maybe I won't talk about here, but there is a positive expression of that could be done as well, that we also don't really have necessarily yet here either. Okay, but they're just wanting to differentiate the intention behind it, whether it's a positive expression or a negative expression of that. All right. Okay, so the main reason why they're wanting to talk about this sex and sexuality stuff is because a lot of kind of what we see out there, like I said at the beginning of this, in terms of, the good, the bad, and the ugly surrounding this kind of thing. But they don't want people, what they're trying to say is they don't want people to feel guilty for their own natural desires and what they actually feel. right? As long as you're exhibiting the positive expression of that, understanding consent, mutual respect, all of those things, okay? They're saying we need to kind of discard the negativity. We need to stop doing it in that way and understanding that there is another way. What they're trying to say is that it's about intent. It's about the intent behind it, the intent of those situations, the intent of that intimacy, the intent of those things. They can all be done in a positive way. Excuse me, when I burp like that, that's usually yes, this is a valid point. The intent to do it in a positive way, okay, and not in a negative, exploitive, or abusive, or any of that kind of stuff. It is a very positive thing, and it is meant to be a very positive thing to be able to experience that intimacy on a physical level of which we have the ability to do. That is a very positive and amazing experience. And they're also saying that it doesn't matter the gender of those, the physical gender of those involved. They're saying it doesn't matter. Pleasure can be had between anyone. Okay, but it's about what you like and your desires. Okay, it's not what somebody else puts on you. If you don't have, like, if you're gay and you don't have a desire for women, it's probably not going to maybe feel good for you to have sex with one. Okay, you're still going to have the desire for what it is based on who you are. As in, if you like to have sex with men, it's going to be with men or whoever it is, right? Like, so they're saying there's nothing wrong with your own personal desire, your own personal how you feel about things, even if you don't like sex that much, or you prefer to have limited amounts of it, or you want to have a lot of it, or you want whatever. There's nothing wrong with having that desire, because that's about the uniqueness and individuality of who we all are as people. Okay? In that uniqueness and individuality, having unique individual desires, etc. But it's about the positive expression of those things. What they're just trying to reiterate, it's about the intent, and it's about the positive expression of those things. Okay, that's what they're trying to really push through here.